The sun was setting over the dry land of Dorson Ridge, a small forgotten town on the edge of nowhere. Wind moved through the empty streets, carrying dust and the sound of rusted metal signs clinking against old buildings. Most people had already left this place years ago when the mines closed. Only a few stayed behind, holding on to their quiet lives among the sand and silence. Among those who stayed was Eli Carter, a simple man who worked as a mechanic. He lived in a small workshop made from old metal sheets and solar panels. Every day he repaired broken machines, hover bikes, cleaning drones, farming bots, and anything else people brought to him. He never became rich, but he was good at what he did, and he liked working with machines. Eli was not a man of many words. He often spent hours sitting alone at his workbench, surrounded by tools, wires, and the soft hum of an old generator. Machines did not lie, complain, or hurt anyone. They only broke, and he fixed them. That made sense to him. That evening, while Eli was finishing work on a power cell, he heard a sound in the distance. It was faint but sharp, like metal hitting stone. He frowned, wiped his hands, and stepped outside. The orange light of the sunset covered the land, and a small trail of smoke rose beyond the hills. Curiosity pushed him forward. He took his old lantern and walked toward the ridge. His boots crushed dry rocks as he climbed the slope. When he reached the top, he stopped in surprise. Something had fallen from the sky. It was a figure lying half buried in dust. At first, Eli thought it was a man wearing armor, maybe some miner's suit. But when he got closer, he realized it was not a man at all. It was a machine, shaped like a person. The body was sleek and silver, but covered in scratches and burn marks. Its chest was open, wires sparking softly. Its head turned slightly, and two dull lights flickered in its eyes. It was alive, or at least trying to be. Eli crouched beside it carefully. "What in the world are you?" he murmured. The android's voice came out broken and weak. "Oil, please." Motor freezing. Eli blinked. "You can talk?" "Oil," it repeated in a fading tone. "Please, it need oil." He looked at the damage. The servos in its joints were dry and jammed. Without lubricant, they would seize completely. Eli hesitated. This thing was not from Earth. He could sell it, or at least call the authorities. But when he looked at the cracked metal face, he saw something almost human in its eyes, something tired and lost. He sighed. "All right then, let's get you fixed up, friend." He pulled the android's arm over his shoulder and carried it back to his workshop. It was heavier than he expected, but Eli was strong from years of labor. Back in the workshop, Eli placed the android on his table. He fetched a can of oil, a welding kit, and a set of fine tools. For hours, he worked in silence. He cleaned the joints, poured oil where the servos had dried, reconnected wires, and sealed the open chest plate. Sparks flashed under his hands, and soon the room smelled of metal and heat. When he finally stepped back, the android's eyes flickered again, this time brighter, shining silver. "System online," it said in a calm, steady voice. "Damage repaired. Functions restored." Eli smiled faintly. "You're awake." The android sat up slowly, scanning the room. "You repaired me." "Without order. Without payment. I fix things. That's what I do," Eli replied. "Didn't seem right to leave you out there." The android tilted its head slightly, as if studying him. "Humans are unpredictable." Eli gave a small laugh. "You're not wrong." There was a moment of silence. The android looked around, its eyes resting on the walls filled with tools, old machines, and parts stacked neatly. "Where am I?" it asked. "Dorson Ridge," Eli said. "An old mining town. Hardly anyone left here now." "Planet Earth," the android said quietly, as if confirming something in its system. "Sector 7G, third planet from Sol." Eli raised an eyebrow. "You say that like you're not from here." "I am not," the android replied simply. Eli stopped for a moment, surprised by how calmly it said that. "Then where are you from?" The android looked toward the small window, where stars were beginning to appear. "Far away, beyond your sky." Eli didn't ask more. He had seen enough strange things in his life. Government ships, secret drones, strange signals, but never something like this. Still, he felt no fear, only curiosity. As the night passed, the android stayed still, speaking little. Eli worked on a few smaller repairs, but his eyes kept drifting toward his guest. After a while, he said quietly, "You got a name?" The android's lights blinked. "Unit 9A47, but you may call me 9. 9, huh? Easy enough," Eli nodded. I'm Eli Carter, the android said. Age 46, mechanic civilian. Record consistent service in local maintenance guild. Eli chuckled. So you looked me up already? I scanned the local data network, 9 explained. You have repaired many machines. 98% success rate. Guess I'm better than I thought, Eli said with a grin. 9 tilted its head again as if confused. You are kind, Eli shrugged. Just doing what's right. For a long time, 9 said nothing. It looked down at its metal hands, flexing its fingers slowly, watching the way the joints moved smoothly again with oil. You did not need to help me, it said finally. You could have left me there. My parts would have value. I don't fix things for money, Eli said simply. Machines deserve a second chance, same as people. Something changed in 9's tone. You think machines are like people? Maybe not the same, Eli replied. But you talk, think, feel pain. Seems close enough to me. The android looked at him for a long time before saying, No one has said that to me before. The next day, Eli gave 9 some power from his generator. The android walked slowly outside for the first time, its metal feet pressing into the sand. The sun reflected off its body, and for a moment it looked almost alive. You said you fell from the sky, Eli said as he followed. What happened? 9's head turned slightly. My memory files are damaged. I remember traveling through orbit, observing human transmissions, then impact. After that, only darkness until you repaired me. So you were watching us? Eli asked. Yes, my mission was to study human behavior for my creators. Your creators? 9 looked toward the horizon. They are far away. They sent me to understand if humanity is still worth knowing, Eli frowned. Worth knowing. Yes, 9 said softly. There were doubts about your kind. You build machines and then abandon them. You reach for stars but destroy your own land. Many thought humans were lost. Eli looked down at his oil-stained hands. Maybe they're not wrong. But some of us still try. 9's eyes glowed a little brighter. Yes, you try. And that is what makes you different. That night, as the two sat outside the workshop, 9 spoke again. Eli, I must tell you something. My internal timer marks 3 days since activation. When the cycle ends, my signal will call for retrieval. Retrieval? Eli repeated. By who? By my people, 9 answered. If the signal was received, they will come. Eli leaned back in his chair. So, in 3 days you'll leave? Yes, 9 said softly. But before I go, I must report what I have learned. Eli smiled faintly. Then tell them humans aren't all bad. I will, 9 said. On the third evening, the quiet of Dorson Ridge was broken by a strange light in the sky. It started as a distant glow, then grew brighter and larger until the ground began to tremble. Eli and the other few townsfolk looked up in shock. Something enormous was descending from the clouds, a ship unlike any human design. Its surface shimmered with blue light and its engines made no sound. Dust blew in waves as it slowed its fall and hovered above the ridge. Eli shielded his eyes, heart pounding. That's your ride, I guess, he said to 9. 9 stepped forward. Yes, they have come. A bright beam of light fell from the ship and shapes appeared. Tall figures. The next morning in Dorson Ridge was quiet again, but something had changed. The people in town could not stop talking about what they had seen the night before. The shining starship that came from the sky, the bright light, and the strange figures who had spoken to Eli Carter. For years, the town had lived in silence, forgotten by the rest of the world, but now they were the center of attention. Everyone wanted to know what really happened. Eli tried to keep to himself. He stayed in his workshop fixing small machines like always. But inside his mind was restless. Every time he looked at the stars, he thought about 9, the android he had repaired. He could still hear 9's calm voice and remember the way its silver eyes had glowed before leaving. He told himself it was just a strange dream, something he could not explain. But deep down, he knew it was real. By the second day, visitors began to arrive. Reporters, scientists, and even government officers came to Dorson Ridge. They asked questions, took pictures, and tried to interview Eli. What did the aliens say? One reporter asked. Did they give you technology? Another shouted. Eli just shook his head. They didn't give me anything, he said simply. They only thanked me. Most people did not believe him. Some called it a lie. Others said it was just a trick of light or a military experiment. But the people who had seen it with their own eyes knew something real had happened. Still, no one could explain the strange blue mark that had burned gently into the ground where the ship had landed. It glowed at night like starlight trapped in stone. Scientists took samples but found nothing. They said it was an energy they couldn't identify. Eli spent his nights sitting outside, watching the ridge. He had begun to miss Nine's company. For the first time in years, he had someone or something that listened to him. He remembered how Nine had asked questions about humanity, about kindness and hope. He wondered if the android had told the truth, if it really was an envoy sent to study humans. And he wondered what kind of reward the aliens had promised. It had been 2 days since the Starship left. The third day was coming. That night, the sky above Dorson Ridge began to change again. Eli was sitting on his porch when he noticed it first, a faint shimmer among the stars, like ripples on water. The air felt strange, lighter somehow. The dogs in town started barking and the old generator lights flickered for a moment. He stood up, heart beating fast. "Not again," he whispered. Then a beam of light shot down from the sky, bright but silent. It hit the same ridge where the ship had landed before. This time it stayed there, forming a glowing circle of silver light. People rushed out of their homes, pointing and shouting. Some were afraid, others excited. Eli, without thinking, grabbed his lantern and began walking toward the ridge again. His legs felt heavy, but curiosity pushed him forward. When he reached the top, he stopped and stared in shock. The glowing circle was still there, and at its center stood something new, something that had not been there before. It was a large object made of metal and glass, almost the size of a small house. It hummed softly, giving off blue light. On the front of the object, words appeared, written in both human and alien script. "To the people of Earth, a gift of understanding." Eli's eyes widened. This must be it," he whispered. By morning, the place was full of people again. Scientists and drones surrounded the object, scanning it, taking readings and arguing over what it was. Some said it was a machine. Others thought it was a power source. But no one could open it. Every time someone touched the surface, it glowed brighter and played a soft musical tone, like a gentle warning. Eli stood quietly among the crowd, watching. He didn't speak much, but he felt that somehow this was meant for him, or maybe for all of humanity. At last, one of the scientists turned to him. "Mr. Carter," she said, "you were the first to see them. Do you have any idea what this could be?" Eli shook his head. "They said a reward would come, but I don't know what kind." The scientist sighed. "It could be dangerous, or it could be the most important discovery in human history." Eli looked at the machine again. It didn't feel dangerous. It felt alive, like Nine had been. That evening, when the crowd left and the scientists set up camp nearby, Eli stayed alone near the object. The wind was cool and the stars shone bright above. He placed his hand on the metal surface carefully. To his surprise, it felt warm. Then the same musical tone played again, but softer this time. The metal shimmered and a faint light spread outward from where his hand touched. Before Eli could pull back, a small hologram appeared in front of him. It was Nine. The android's silver image looked just as he remembered. Its calm eyes focused on him. "Hello again, Eli Carter," the hologram said gently. Eli stared, lost for words. "Nine, is that really you?" "In a way," the hologram replied. "I left a copy of my memory inside this device. It is a message and a key." "A key to what?" Eli asked. "To your future," Nine said. "My creators have decided to share knowledge with humanity. Inside this machine are blueprints, languages, and energy designs that could change your world forever." Eli stepped closer. "Why me, Nine? Why bring it here?" Nine's eyes seemed to glow brighter. "Because you showed compassion without expecting anything. My people learned that kindness is not weakness. They saw in you what humanity truly is, and they chose to trust your kind." Eli felt his throat tighten. "I just fixed a broken android." Nine smiled faintly. "Sometimes small actions open great doors." Eli watched as the hologram began to fade. "Wait," he said quickly, "what should we do with this gift?" Nine's voice grew softer. "Use it wisely. Do not let greed or fear destroy it. This is not only a gift, it is a test. Humanity will be judged by what you do next." The light faded completely, leaving Eli standing in silence with the glowing object before him. Over the next few days, news spread fast. The world's governments sent ships, drones, and scientists. Soon the ridge was surrounded by fences, guards, and cameras. The world wanted to know what the gift was and how to use it. Some leaders saw it as a chance for power. Others saw it as hope. Many argued about who should control it. Eli watched quietly as people in suits and uniforms fought over access. They brought machines to study it, but the device would not open for anyone. It stayed sealed, humming softly, glowing only when Eli came near. That made the scientists nervous. They asked him to touch it again. When he did, lights moved across the surface and a soft voice spoke. Not in alien language this time, but in perfect English, access granted to Eli Carter of Earth. The metal shell opened slowly, revealing a sphere of light floating inside. The air shimmered and images appeared. Stars, planets, cities of shining glass, and energy fields flowing like rivers. Everyone around gasped. The device was showing knowledge from another civilization. Maps of star systems, designs for new energy, and technologies far beyond human science. Eli stepped back, staring in wonder. 9. You really meant it. The scientists began recording everything, working day and night. But Eli felt uneasy. 9's last words echoed in his mind. Do not let greed or fear destroy it. He saw the excitement in people's faces, but also hunger, ambition. He knew how humans could be. One night, unable to sleep, Eli returned to the ridge alone. The machine was still glowing softly. He sat beside it, looking up at the stars. Is this really what we deserve? He whispered. The machine pulsed lightly, almost like it was listening. Eli sighed. You trusted us, 9. I just hope we're worthy of that trust. Far above, beyond the reach of human eyes, a small ship watched silently from orbit. Inside, silver figures observed the scene. One of them, the same being who had spoken to Eli before, turned to the others and said, He understands. Let us hope his world does too. The ship disappeared into the stars, leaving Earth to face its choice. And on the ground, in a quiet desert town, a simple mechanic sat beside the greatest gift ever given to humanity, wondering what would come next. The world had changed. In less than a week, every screen, radio, and news channel across Earth was talking about one thing: the gift from the stars found in the small desert town of Dorson Ridge. At first, people thought it was a hoax. But when videos appeared of the shining object, of the strange holograms showing other worlds, and of the man named Eli Carter standing beside it, the disbelief turned into shock. Then came excitement. Then fear. The world had finally seen proof that humans were not alone. Eli's workshop, once silent and forgotten, had become the busiest place on the planet. Military drones hovered in the sky. Scientists built tents and laboratories around his small home. Journalists camped outside the security fences, trying to catch a glimpse of the mysterious machine. Eli stayed quiet through it all. He didn't care for cameras or attention. All he wanted was peace. He missed the old days when he could work with his tools in silence, fixing broken things and drinking his tea without interruption. But peace was impossible now. Every day, people came to ask him questions. Government leaders wanted to know how the device worked. Scientists asked him to touch it again so they could study the reactions. Some even begged him to share what the android 9 had told him. Eli always gave the same calm answer. It wasn't a gift for me. It was a gift for all of us. Around the world, people reacted in different ways. In the big cities, people gathered in the streets to celebrate. They called it the Day of Contact. They said humanity had been chosen by the stars. Children painted pictures of glowing ships and schools taught about Eli Carter. the mechanic who had repaired an alien envoy. But not everyone celebrated. Some were afraid. Certain groups said the machine was a trap, that aliens wanted to control humanity. Others feared the technology would destroy the balance of power on Earth. Leaders from many countries started arguing about who had the right to use the alien knowledge. Meetings were held at the World Science Council, and scientists from every nation tried to study the blueprints inside the device. But the strange machine only responded when Eli was near. That made him even more important and more watched. One morning, a group of officials arrived at his workshop. They wore clean suits and serious faces. The leader, a tall woman with silver hair, introduced herself as Director Lena Marrow of the Global Science Authority. "Mr. Carter," she said firmly, "we need your cooperation. You are the only one the alien machine recognizes. We believe you can help us unlock more of its systems." Eli sighed. "You've already copied most of what's inside."
Isn't that enough?
Lena shook her head. "The device is more than technology. It's communicating. We think it's learning from you." "Learning?" Eli asked. "Yes," she said. "It responds to your thoughts, your tone, even your emotions. Whatever those beings saw in you, they built it to trust you." Eli looked away. "They trusted all of us." "Not just me," Lena paused. "Then help us earn that trust, please." After a long moment, Eli agreed. Not for fame or reward, but because of what Nine had said. This is a test. Inside the secured research dome, the glowing sphere floated silently above a platform. It looked calm, but everyone could feel the energy coming from it. When Eli stepped closer, the light brightened slightly and a soft hum filled the air. "Hello again," Eli said quietly. "It's been some time." To everyone's surprise, a gentle voice echoed from the sphere. "Hello, Eli Carter of Earth." Gasps filled the room. The machine had never spoken before. Eli smiled faintly. "Nine told me you would watch." The voice replied, "Nine's memory remains within me. I am the archive of Accord. My purpose is to share understanding between species." Lena stepped forward. "Can you teach us?" she asked eagerly. "Can you show us how your technology works?" The voice paused. "Knowledge is dangerous without wisdom. The one who repaired our envoy must choose who learns first." Everyone turned to Eli. He frowned. "Why me?" "Because your choice will show what kind of world you wish to build," the voice said. Eli thought for a long time. Around him, people waited, whispering. Scientists wanted him to choose them. Soldiers wanted him to give the technology to governments. Reporters wanted a headline. Finally, Eli spoke softly. "If this knowledge is for everyone, then it should be shared with everyone, openly and fairly. No one nation or group should own it." The sphere glowed brighter. "Your answer is wise." Lena looked uneasy. "But that could cause chaos. People could misuse it." Eli turned to her. "People can misuse anything, power, money, science. But we can't build a better future if we start with greed." The voice in the sphere agreed. "Humanity's future depends on unity. The gift will unlock gradually, shared through your global networks. Teach and learn together." And with that, the lights inside the machine shifted. Streams of glowing symbols began to project into the air. Mathematical patterns, energy designs, and peaceful technologies meant for healing, not war. The scientists gasped. "It's translating itself. It's making copies for the public network." Within minutes, data flowed into satellites, then across every nation. Humanity had just received the greatest library of knowledge ever known, but not everyone was happy. Some powerful groups tried to block the information, fearing they would lose control. A few governments demanded the data be kept secret. But it was too late. The knowledge was spreading faster than anyone could stop. Across the world, engineers, students, and doctors began studying it. Within days, new energy systems appeared. Small devices that could purify air and water, cure diseases, and generate clean power. For the first time in decades, hope filled the world. Eli watched the changes from his workshop. He saw children playing under lights powered by alien energy, and farmers repairing their machines using new materials. People who once fought over resources began sharing ideas instead. Still, Eli knew it wouldn't all be perfect. Humanity was learning quickly, but human nature took longer to change. A few weeks later, Director Lena returned. This time she looked tired but hopeful. "You've started something big, Eli," she said. "The world is moving faster than we can follow." Eli nodded slowly. That's not because of me. It's because people finally believe in something better. She smiled softly. Do you ever think they'll come back? The ones who sent the gift? Eli looked at the stars. Maybe, when they see we've earned it. He paused for a moment, then added quietly, but I think they're already watching. That night, alone on the ridge, Eli sat near the machine again. It still glowed softly, but now its light seemed calmer, almost peaceful. He spoke softly to the stars. 9, if you can hear me, I hope you're proud of what you started. The machine answered faintly, its tone almost like a whisper in the wind. We are watching, Eli Carter. Humanity has taken its first step. Do not let the light fade. Eli smiled. I won't. He looked up at the endless night sky. For the first time, he didn't feel small. He felt connected. To the stars, to the world, and to something much larger than himself. He remembered the day he found that broken android in the dust. He had thought he was just fixing a machine. But now he understood. He had repaired a bridge between worlds, and far above Earth, in the quiet darkness of space, countless eyes watched and waited, wondering what humanity would do next. Weeks passed since the gift from the stars had been unlocked. Humanity was changing. Cities began using clean energy devices from the alien blueprints. Farms thrived using improved technology. Diseases that had once claimed thousands now could be treated or prevented. People had hope again, but with progress came new challenges. Eli Carter stayed in Dorson Ridge quietly observing. The desert town had become a hub of activity. Scientists, engineers, and even young students traveled there daily. They came to consult Eli, the mechanic who had first repaired the android and the one the gift responded to. Eli rarely left his workshop. He spent most of the day cleaning tools, repairing old machines, and checking on the glowing sphere. Despite all the excitement, he remained calm. He knew something had to be watched closely. Humanity could misuse the gift if they were careless. The first warning came quietly. One morning, the glowing sphere pulsed violently. The hum that usually filled the workshop became a loud vibration. Eli jumped back. The holographic projection of 9 appeared above the machine, flickering. Eli Carter, the voice said urgently. A faction is attempting to alter the gift. Their intention is not knowledge, they seek control. This is dangerous. You must intervene, Eli frowned. Control? Who? The data streams are being modified from several points on Earth. Only one with wisdom can correct the misuse. Eli took a deep breath. He had imagined that some people might try to take advantage, but hearing 9's warning made it real. He left the workshop immediately and went to the command tent set up by the Global Science Authority. Inside, scientists and officials were busy trying to monitor the spread of alien knowledge. Screens flashed with alerts. Data flows were being diverted. Certain groups wanted to restrict the information, changing it to favor themselves. Director Lena Marrow noticed Eli and approached him quickly. The system is unstable. Some governments are trying to rewrite the protocols. If they succeed, the knowledge could be misused for weapons or profit. Eli nodded slowly. Then let's stop them. But we need to do it without panic. People need to understand the gift is for everyone, not just a few. Lena gave him a determined look. Can you access it? I think so, Eli said, taking a deep breath. The gift responds to me. I need to focus, to think clearly. Everyone else will have to follow my instructions. Eli sat in front of the sphere. The soft blue light glowed gently around him. He closed his eyes and remembered Nine's words. Knowledge is dangerous without wisdom. Slowly he reached out. The sphere pulsed in response. Streams of data floated in the air. Lines of alien code, energy designs, and star maps. Eli focused, imagining a protective barrier around the information, allowing only honest use. The sphere hummed, then began projecting holographic guidance. Instructions appeared for scientists on how to correct corrupted data, restore the integrity of the blueprints, and prevent misuse. For hours, Eli worked silently, the hum of the machine mixing with his quiet thoughts. Outside, the desert wind moved softly, carrying the scent of sand and oil from his workshop. Finally, the streams of light stabilized. The sphere's glow returned to its gentle hum. Eli opened his eyes, exhausted but relieved. "The immediate danger is gone," he said softly to Nine. "You have succeeded, Eli Carter," the hologram replied. "But remember, the test continues. Knowledge alone is not enough. Humanity must also learn responsibility." Eli nodded, understanding. Wisdom is harder than technology, he thought. Despite the danger being controlled, the world could not ignore the impact of the gift. Cities adapted quickly. Energy grids powered entire regions without fuel. Medical facilities used alien designs to save lives. Farms flourished and clean water reached even remote villages. But there was a cost. The speed of change created tension. Some people felt left behind. Jobs shifted as old technologies were replaced. Old corporations struggled to adapt and began lobbying governments to restrict the new knowledge. Eli watched these struggles from Dorson Ridge. He helped where he could, repairing old machines to work with the new energy systems, advising young engineers and teaching children how to safely experiment with new devices. He noticed a pattern. Humanity's greatest challenge was not the gift itself, but how humans chose to use it. One evening, as Eli repaired an old hoverbike, Lena Marrow arrived with news. "Eli, something has happened." A group of engineers tried to replicate alien energy devices without following the safety protocols. There was an explosion, no casualties, but it destroyed part of a research facility. Eli's brow furrowed. "I warned them. Knowledge without care is dangerous," Lena sighed. "They didn't listen, and now we have to prevent others from making the same mistake." Eli nodded. "Then we teach. We show them how to use it correctly. We can't stop them from trying, but we can guide them." That night, Eli stayed late at the workshop. He wrote notes, drew diagrams, and created manuals that combined human understanding with the alien guidance. He wanted the future engineers to have both tools and wisdom. The days passed quickly. Humanity began adapting. Countries cooperated in ways never seen before. New schools taught both human science and alien techniques. Doctors cured diseases faster. Engineers built cities powered entirely by clean energy. And still, Eli remained humble. He was just a mechanic. But people looked to him as a symbol, proof that a simple act of kindness could ripple across the galaxy. He remembered when he first saw Nine, broken and lost in the dust. Who would have thought that oil and a few hours of care would change the fate of humanity? But the cost of knowledge was more than just mistakes or accidents. One night, Eli sat outside the workshop, looking at the glowing sphere. A soft wind blew across the desert. The machine pulsed gently. He felt a presence, something beyond Earth, beyond comprehension. Nine's hologram appeared, calm and clear. "Eli Carter," it said. "The gift was shared, but the test is not over. Humanity now has power, but power alone does not define a species. How your kind chooses to use it will be observed." Eli asked softly, "Will they come again? The ones who sent you?" "They are always watching," Nine replied. "But they do not intervene unless necessary. They believe in your judgment," Eli nodded. "Then all we can do is try to be worthy." "Yes," Nine said. "But understand this. Not all will choose wisely. There will be mistakes. There will be selfishness. Your task is to guide them, to protect what is good, and to show humanity's potential." Eli looked up at the stars, feeling both proud and responsible. The weight of the galaxy rested lightly on his shoulders, not because he was strong or brilliant, but because he had chosen kindness once, and it had opened the door to the stars. The following weeks brought more challenges. Governments tried to control parts of the technology, But the sphere's protections prevented any misuse. Young innovators shared solutions across borders, while communities rebuilt with cleaner, safer systems. One day, Lena Marrow approached Eli again. "Eli, the world is changing fast. People are starting to believe in something bigger than themselves. This is what you wanted, isn't it?" Eli smiled faintly. "Not just me. People wanted it too. They just needed a reason to believe." "You gave them that reason," Lena said softly. Eli shook his head. "I only fixed a broken android. That's all." "Sometimes fixing one thing changes everything," she replied. Eli thought about 9, about the gift, and about the millions of people whose lives were being transformed. He realized it wasn't about being a hero. It was about small choices repeated every day that built a better world. That night, alone, Eli returned to the ridge one last time for the day. The glowing sphere pulsed softly, almost like a heartbeat. He reached out, letting his fingers brush the surface. A faint light appeared, forming a small projection of 9. "You have done well, Eli Carter," the voice said gently. "Humanity is learning. But remember, wisdom is as important as power. Guide them. Protect them. Inspire them. Do not let fear or greed dominate." "I understand," Eli said. "And one day," 9 continued, "your kindness will echo among the stars." Months had passed since the gift from the stars had been unlocked. Humanity was changing faster than anyone had imagined. Cities ran on clean energy, diseases were treatable, and resources were shared in ways that were once considered impossible. The world had begun to unite, guided by knowledge that was far older and wiser than any human could have created alone. And through it all, Eli Carter remained in Dorson Ridge, the quiet mechanic who had unknowingly opened the door to the stars. He worked at his small workshop every day, repairing machines, teaching young engineers, and advising on the new alien-inspired energy systems. Yet even as the world moved forward, he never lost his sense of wonder. Every time he looked at the sky, he remembered 9 and the day the first Starship had landed. One evening, Eli was sitting outside his workshop, watching the sun set in streaks of orange and purple. A soft hum filled the air, not from the generator but from somewhere above. At first he thought it was a storm, but the sky was clear. Then a streak of blue light appeared, brighter than anything he had ever seen. It moved faster than any aircraft, leaving a sparkling trail behind. Eli's heart raced. "Not again," he whispered. The light slowed and transformed into a starship, hovering silently above the ridge. Its hull glimmered with patterns of silver and gold. Unlike the first time, this ship looked different, grand, elegant, and alive with energy. A ramp extended from the ship, touching the ground like a bridge. From it descended several tall figures, their bodies shining with a soft metallic glow. Their faces were smooth, their eyes reflecting distant stars. Eli took a step forward, unsure if he should greet them. Then he remembered 9's voice. "They will come for the reward, for humanity's kindness." The lead figure approached. Its presence felt calm but powerful. "Eli Carter," it said in a voice that seemed to echo in the air. "Humanity has proven its potential. You have repaired what was broken, not for gain but for compassion. You have guided your kind with wisdom. For this, a reward will be given." Eli swallowed. I didn't do anything special. I just fixed a machine." The being tilted its head slightly. "You fixed more than a machine. You repaired faith. You reminded the galaxy why humans are worth watching." Behind the figure, the ship's hull opened, revealing a chamber filled with glowing objects, spheres, devices, and crystalline artifacts. They pulsed with light, each one a piece of technology that seemed alive. "This is the Stellar Accord's reward," the figure continued. "It is not for personal gain, but for the people of Earth. Your task, Eli Carter, is to help guide its integration into your world." Eli stepped closer, awe spreading through him. He reached out to touch one of the glowing spheres. Warmth filled his hands and visions appeared. Alien worlds, cities floating among the stars, energy flowing through nature in perfect harmony. He felt the intelligence behind it, gentle yet immense. The beings continued. "This reward will accelerate humanity's growth, but wisdom is essential. Knowledge without care can lead to ruin. Your role is to teach, to guide, and to protect the spirit of what was shared." Eli nodded slowly. "I understand. I'll do my best. The lead figure smiled faintly. "We know you will. And someday when Earth is ready, our people will return for direct contact. For now, this gift is yours to nurture." The chamber began to hum louder. Each artifact lifted into the air, moving gently toward Earth as if following an invisible path. The light from the ship reflected on the desert sand, and Eli watched amazed as the energy flowed outward into the world. Over the next weeks, humanity experienced another leap forward. Unlike before, this time the reward was not just information. It was tools, devices, and guidance that could help humans reach the stars. Small cities built with alien materials appeared overnight. Energy shields protected entire regions from storms. Transportation systems evolved, allowing humans to travel faster and safer than ever before. And scientists learned to communicate with the ship's guidance system directly, creating a network of knowledge that stretched across the planet. Yet, through all this, Eli remained humble. He traveled to meet leaders, students, and engineers, not to show off, but to remind them of something important. Kindness and wisdom must always guide progress. One day, as Eli walked through a city powered entirely by alien energy, he saw children playing with hover devices that glowed softly. Farmers used energy spheres to irrigate crops without exhausting the soil. Doctors repaired machines that once were impossible to fix. A young engineer ran up to him, her eyes shining. "Mr. Carter, the reward is amazing. Look at this." She held a small device, a cube of light that could purify water instantly. Eli smiled. "Remember," he said gently, "it's not the device that matters. It's what you do with it. Help people. Teach others. Be careful and never use it for greed or harm." The girl nodded eagerly, understanding. "We will, sir. We promise." Eli watched her run off to teach others. He felt a warmth in his chest, pride mixed with hope. Then came the first test. A sudden storm appeared in the sky, larger than anything Earth had seen in decades. Lightning struck the energy grids in one city, threatening to overload the systems. Alarms blared. Scientists scrambled to protect the devices. Eli did not panic. He ran to the control hub, using knowledge from the Stellar Accords artifacts. The devices responded to him, connecting in a network to balance the energy flows. Slowly, the storm's fury was absorbed and redirected harmlessly into the ground. When it was over, the city remained intact. Engineers and scientists cheered. Eli simply wiped sweat from his brow. It wasn't me. It was them, trusting humanity to act wisely. That night back in Dorson Ridge, Eli looked up at the stars. The desert was quiet, filled only with the soft glow of alien artifacts and the distant hum of energy grids. A small light appeared in the sky, a familiar streak of blue. Eli recognized it immediately. The ship had returned, hovering silently above the ridge. 9 appeared as a hologram, brighter and more defined than ever. "Eli Carter," the voice said warmly, "you have done well. Humanity has learned to protect the gift, to share knowledge, and to act with wisdom. This is what we hoped for." Eli smiled faintly. "They are learning. Slowly, but they are learning." "Yes," 9 said, "and because of you, the Stellar Accord now believes Earth is ready for the next step." Eli frowned. "The next step?" 9's eyes glimmered. "The reward you received was only the beginning. Soon humanity will be invited to join the Galactic Council, to explore other worlds, to learn from other civilizations, and to share what you know. But you must remember, compassion is as important as technology." Eli nodded slowly, understanding. "I will remember." The hologram of 9 shimmered and faded, leaving Eli alone under the stars. The glowing spheres pulsed softly, a silent promise of the future. Weeks later, preparations began for the first official human expedition into space, using the Stellar Accords guidance. Ships powered by alien energy lifted off, carrying scientists, engineers, and explorers into orbit. They looked down at Earth, its blue oceans, green forests, and deserts, and realized humanity had taken its first step beyond the planet without fear, guided by knowledge and kindness. Eli stood on the launch pad, surrounded by those who had worked with him. "Remember," he said softly, "this is not just about exploring stars. It's about showing that humanity can be trusted with what is greater than ourselves." A young engineer asked, "Do you think the Stellar Accord is really watching?" Eli smiled and looked up at the sky. I think they've been watching all along, and now they know we're ready. As the starships lifted off into the infinite dark, the desert below remained quiet. Eli returned to his workshop, his hands dirty with oil and dust, but his heart full of hope. He thought about the day he found 9, broken and lost in the dust. He had fixed a machine, not knowing it would repair a bridge between worlds. And far above, beyond human vision, the ships of the Stellar Accord watched. They saw the light of humanity spreading not just across the Earth, but soon, across the stars. Eli smiled softly. I guess fixing a broken robot really can change the galaxy. The night sky sparkled, filled with possibilities, and humanity had finally earned its first reward beyond the stars.